We walk through doors every day without thinking. They separate the places we live, work, and sleep. But what if some doors were never meant to be crossed? What if behind certain doors, something waits that should remain untouched? Some lie buried underground, others are tied to strange beliefs and old curses. These are not just doors, they are warnings in disguise. What you are about to learn might change how you see doors forever. These are 15 mysterious doors that can never be opened. Number 15, Gate of the Gods. This isn't a doorway in the usual sense, and that is what makes it strange. What you are looking at isn't just carved rock, but a mystery cloaked in questions. The Gate of the Gods, found on the face of Hayu Mara mountain in Peru, has long drawn attention. Not only for its size or shape, but for what people believe it could be. Some say it's a portal, others say it connects this world to another. Either way, something about it feels intentional and unsettling. No one knows when it was made or by whom. Its size is impossible to ignore. It is about 23 feet tall and just as wide. From a distance, it almost disappears into the mountain. But once you are up close, the details come to life. A circular hollow sits right in the middle, slightly off the ground. Some say it calls to you. Off to the side, there is a smaller carved tunnel, barely large enough to crawl through. Visitors often stop and press their forehead into its cool surface. They say it makes them feel calm, though it wasn't officially documented until 1996, when a local tour guide came across it. The people living nearby had already known of it. Traditions from various native groups tied the doorway to stories passed down for generations. Those stories speak of gods, travelers, and doors that open only when the time is right. Scholars suggest it might even be older than the Inca. Elders from Native American communities believe it holds spiritual value. Theories range from ceremonial use to something far more unusual. Well, what stands there in stone may always stay unknown, and maybe that is how it's supposed to be. Number 14, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. At the edge of the Arctic Circle, hidden in the cold silence of Spitsbergen, stands a vault built for a future most people hope never comes. Its quiet and mysterious-looking entrance is constructed into the side of a mountain on the Norwegian island. It has been nicknamed the Doomsday Vault, but the name barely captures what is inside. It was built in 2008 and is heavily secured. The vault is not open to visitors, and only those with special access can enter. This has made many question what exactly goes on inside. However, inside it are millions of seeds from nearly every part of the planet. The vault stores duplicates of crop seeds collected by gene banks from across the world. It exists as a last resort, ready in case war, disease, or climate disaster wipes out food production. The mountain helps regulate the freezing conditions inside. Artificial systems keep the temperature at -18 degrees Celsius. That cold, along with the structure itself, is meant to preserve the seeds for thousands of years. 3 separate chambers were built into the mountain, though only one is currently active. The others remain sealed, waiting. The entrance often looks frozen shut, covered in layers of frost that never melt. The vault only opens 3 times a year to accept seed deliveries from other countries. Cameras rarely capture what happens beyond that door. Officially, it is managed by the Norwegian government, Nordgen, and the Crop Trust. Unofficially, it has drawn a wave of theories, some ordinary, others far stranger. Number 13, the hidden chambers of India's greatest monument. Even the most admired landmarks can carry secrets no one is ready to explain. And inside the Taj Mahal, past the arches and carved marble, there is something the public has never been allowed to see. Behind its polished beauty lies a basement area that holds 22 locked rooms which are sealed shut and closed off from view. These rooms sit beneath the main structure, directly below the camelli floor. There are 4 large chambers and 18 smaller ones hidden away for decades. Authorities with the Archaeological Survey of India have kept them shut and remain quiet about their exact purpose. No images have been released. No tours are offered. The silence surrounding them only makes the mystery stronger. There has been no clear answer as to why they remain locked. Officials state that the decision was made to protect the monument's structure, and that tampering with them could weaken its base. Still, many are unconvinced. The sealed doors once had red sandstone frames. Those were later covered with brick, removing even the outlines of the original entrances. The rooms are guarded. Cameras monitor the area at all hours. Nothing is taken lightly around them. Over the years, people have developed theories about what might be hidden there. Some suggest the rooms hold royal artifacts or treasures. Others believe they may contain original manuscripts, important objects tied to Mughal history, or even Mumtaz Mahal's true burial chamber. None of these ideas have been proven. No historian or scientist has been allowed to go far enough to find out. And without access, there is no way to know what rests behind those walls. Number 12. The Forbidden Door of Machu Picchu. In 2010, French engineer David Crespi spotted something strange during his visit to the ancient site of Machu Picchu. It was a stone wall that looked too deliberate to be natural. Crespi suspected it wasn't just part of the mountainside. It looked like an entrance, hidden and sealed long ago on purpose. Crespi contacted archaeologists who examined the site and soon after confirmed the doorway was real. Their research revealed even more behind it. Using ground-penetrating equipment, they uncovered more than just the door. 2 entryways sat behind the wall. A 3D scan revealed the path beyond. There was a staircase, a central hall, and other smaller chambers. One was shaped like a large rectangular room. Scans also picked up signs of metal buried deep within the space. Gold or silver, possibly. Maybe ceremonial. Maybe something else entirely. Researchers believed the Incas had sealed this part of Machu Picchu themselves, perhaps to keep its contents safe during times of threat. There was reason to think what lay beyond the wall had serious value, not just in treasure, but in meaning. The archaeological team filed an official request with the Peruvian authorities to explore the chambers. That request was denied. Officials argued that breaking open the wall could damage parts of the historic site. But when a camera was pushed through a small opening, the findings confirmed that the door's stone blocks were used only to close off the passage and not to hold anything up. What lies behind it remains untouched. Number 11. Mount Rushmore's Secret Passage. At first glance, Mount Rushmore seems like a finished work, but there is something hidden behind the famous stone faces that most visitors never hear about. The monument was designed by a sculptor named Gutzon Borglum. He worked on it from 1927 until his death in 1941. While the public focused on the massive carvings of 4 American presidents, Borglum was planning something much bigger. It was something he believed would keep the meaning of the monument alive far into the future. He wanted to build a hidden chamber behind the sculpture, a space he named the Hall of Records. This room would hold busts of historic Americans, records of scientific and artistic achievements, and even metal copies of the Constitution and other key documents. It was meant to serve as a kind of archive for future generations. In July 1938, work on the chamber began. But the government had other ideas. Officials urged Borglum to concentrate on completing the faces, believing the extra chamber was unnecessary. When Borglum died in 1941, his vision was left unfinished. The chamber behind the presidents was abandoned, and the entire project was officially declared complete. For decades, the mountain kept its secret hidden behind cold stone. Then, in 1998, part of his dream finally came to life. A collection of important records was sealed inside a titanium box and placed in the entry of the chamber. This was then covered with a granite slab. Inside are panels that explain the monument's history, its creators, and the reasons behind choosing the presidents carved into the mountain. But the chamber remains off-limits. The closest people can get is a weathered doorway carved in the mountain, which leads to a place few have seen and even fewer talk about. Number 10. New chamber found in the Great Pyramid. On the northern face of the Great Pyramid of Khufu, a hidden corridor was uncovered in 2016 through the use of a scanning method called myography. This technique studies how cosmic particles, known as muons, move through solid stone. The scan revealed a space that was concealed above the main entrance. It was nearly 30 feet long and a little over 6 feet wide. Later, researchers turned to radar, ultrasound, and a slim endoscopic device to examine the area more closely. They slipped the camera through a narrow joint in the chevron blocks directly above the entrance, allowing them to see what lay inside. The images they captured confirmed what the scans first suggested. There was a long, hollow corridor tucked inside the stone structure. Experts are still trying to figure out why it was built. One practical theory says it may help relieve weight on the pyramid structure to keep it from collapsing under its own mass. Others think the purpose could be far more symbolic or sacred. Some have started to wonder if it was meant as a burial space, possibly intended for Pharaoh Khufu himself. That question leads to something even more intriguing. Is there something else hidden behind the corridor's far wall? Right now, no one knows. But as new tools continue to scan the ancient stone, the chances of finding what's hidden may grow. Number 9. The missing room at Fairmont. At the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel in Canada, there is something strange about the hallway if you pay close attention. Guests can reserve room 872 or room 874, but room 873 is absent. There is no visible door, plaque, or sign showing that it was ever part of the hallway. Yet records and old floor plans say otherwise. According to both hotel staff and guests, room 873 once existed. The reason it is no longer available has to do with a tragic incident that still unnerves those who speak about it. It is said that a man, his wife, and their young daughter were found dead in that room. Some believe it was a murder followed by the man taking his own life. Not long after, strange things began to happen. Guests who stayed in the room said they heard screams at night. Some claimed they saw the figure of a woman and a child standing near the bed. The air in the room would grow cold suddenly, even with the windows shut. More disturbing were the reports of bloodstains appearing on the walls. Housekeeping staff said they would clean the stains, only for them to return by morning. Others said they woke to find a child walking outside their room, confused and silent, vanishing before anyone could help. Due to the number of complaints and fear, the hotel decided to seal the room permanently. The doorway was taken out and drywall was placed to match the rest of the corridor, leaving no trace. Number 8. The Hobbit Door of Mowbray Park. There is an unusual door that raises questions from people who pass through Mowbray Park in Sunderland, England. Locals have nicknamed it the Hobbit Door, and just by looking at it you get the sense that it belongs somewhere else entirely. The door is framed by a medieval arch and fitted with a wooden panel and a lion's head knocker. The door appears far too small for the average adult, yet it is impossible to overlook. Many who stumble across it are caught off guard by its placement and design. Children often ask their parents about it, expecting a solid answer. But most receive made-up tales about fairies, goblins, or tiny magical creatures. Strangely, grown-ups who ask the same question usually come away just as unsure. But there is some known history. The archway itself dates back to the medieval period and once served as part of the rectory of St. Michael's Church, which is now known as Sunderland Minster. Although the arch is original, the door is not. What stands today was added much later, crafted in the late 1990s by an artist during a major update of the park. Behind the door, there used to be a small cave. Park officials have said that long ago the groundskeeper would use the space to store tools and supplies. That cave has since been closed off for safety reasons. Still, something about the door feels unfinished, like it is waiting to be opened. Number 7. Inside Holmes's Maze of Death. Some doors are meant to welcome, others are built to trap. The entrance to Henry Howard Holmes's Chicago hotel did both, depending on who stepped through. In the late 1800s, Henry Howard Holmes rose to infamy as America's first known serial killer. What appeared to be a normal hotel on the outside was, in truth, a carefully constructed maze of horror. Holmes personally designed the building on 63rd Street, and from the sidewalk, its architecture looked strange but impressive. Curious people often paused to watch the structure rise, unaware of the nightmare it would become. Once finished, the layout raised questions. Narrow passageways twisted in odd directions. Chimneys rose from strange places. Staircases ended abruptly, and doors opened to nothing. Some rooms had no entry points. Some doors opened into walls. This bizarre design wasn't a mistake. It was intentional. According to a 1937 article in the Chicago Tribune, the building was unlike anything seen before. It described the corridors as winding and disorienting, the house as crooked, the design as warped. Behind the strange architecture was Holmes's plan to control and kill. Gas jets were fitted in the dimly lit hallways, peepholes were drilled into airtight, soundproof rooms. From his closet, Holmes could release gas into a guest's room without stepping outside. The bedrooms looked normal at first glance, but each one could become a chamber of death with the turn of a valve. A vault across from Holmes's office was equipped the same way. Once his victims were gone, hidden trapdoors and greased chutes made it easy to move the bodies. They would fall directly into the basement, where Holmes carried out even darker acts. Holmes was finally captured in 1894. A year later, much of the hotel was destroyed by fire, but the doorways, the ones that led nowhere, became a twisted symbol of everything he built. If you have been drawn into this mystery so far, tap the like button. There is more to uncover. Number 6. The Arch That Seals Disaster. A door doesn't need to swing open to stand as a sentinel against danger. At Chernobyl, this truth has been cast in concrete and steel. After the 1986 explosion at Reactor 4 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, radioactive clouds drifted over cities, forests, and farmland. To prevent further contamination, a structure called the shelter was quickly assembled. It was made from thick concrete and heavy steel to seal away core remnants and halt further radiation leakage. Trapped within it were roughly 200 tons of molten corium, 30 tons of contaminated dust, and 16 tons of uranium and plutonium. From the very beginning, engineers knew the structure was only a temporary measure. The shelter was not built to last. Over time, its roof sagged. Cracks appeared, and the risk of collapse became too high to ignore. It was clear that a more permanent solution was needed. That urgency led to the creation of the new safe confinement. This immense arch extends 843 feet in width and is 354 feet tall. Built in two halves away from the reactor, it was later slid into position over the original sarcophagus. This massive engineering achievement was made to withstand tornadoes, earthquakes, and the long years to come. Completed in 2017, the new safe confinement now serves as a massive containment door that holds back the worst of the radiation. Equipped with systems to monitor and manage the radioactive interior, it is built with no intention of ever being opened again. Its sealed presence ensures that whatever lies within remains locked away from the world. Number 5. Secrets Under the Sphinx. The Great Sphinx of Giza, carved from limestone with the body of a lion and the face of a man, has stood silently in the Egyptian desert for over 4,000 years. With little more than simple tools, it took close to 100 workers around 3 years to finish. But that colossal figure is only the surface. At the base of its massive paws, researchers once used seismograph equipment and discovered 2 rectangular chambers hidden 25 feet underground. According to those who studied the site, there seemed to be 2 entry points that could access these chambers. Both appear to be sealed shut. What lies behind those sealed doors remains unknown. Government officials placed tight restrictions on further exploration, which only deepened the mystery. Some believe those underground rooms contain something more than tombs or treasure. There are theories about a hidden hall of records buried beneath the Sphinx, scrolls that could reveal forgotten knowledge from ancient Egypt. Some go even further, suggesting the records might detail the lost history of a sunken civilization known as Atlantis. No one has been allowed to confirm what, if anything, lies inside. The entrances remain sealed, untouched. For now, the truth waits in silence under the sand. Number 4. Doors behind the terracotta. Sometimes the ground gives way to something far more unusual than rock or soil. In 1974, farmers digging a well near the ancient Chinese capital of Xianyang stumbled upon a figure made of terracotta. What they uncovered would change how the world viewed China's earliest empire. That figure turned out to be one of many clay soldiers standing guard outside a hidden tomb. Over the next 40 years, careful excavation revealed thousands more. These warriors were placed to protect the resting place of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of a unified China, who died in 210 BC. Researchers estimate there may be around 8,000 soldiers in total. So far, only about 2,000 have been unearthed. Scientists have used tools like ground-penetrating radar, remote sensing, and core sampling to study the land without disturbing it too much. What they have found suggests something much larger than expected. The entire tomb complex may stretch across nearly 38 square miles. Still, the real mystery lies inside the emperor's sealed burial chamber. Almost nothing has been touched within it. The only available clues come from the ancient writings of Han Dynasty historian Sima Qian. He described an elaborate underground palace filled with towers, rare treasures, and 3 stone doors meant to guard the emperor's remains. According to those same records, mercury was used to create flowing rivers, and mechanical traps were designed to catch intruders. Soil samples taken from the area revealed dangerously high mercury levels, backing up parts of the old account. But to this day, the tomb itself remains closed. No one has passed through its doors. Whatever lies on the other side continues to stay out of reach, locked behind layers of earth and time. Number 3. Secrets of a haunted museum. Old buildings hide things no one talks about. One door proved it. When Marie and Steve Wesson took ownership of the haunted museum in Nottingham, they expected the strange. But what they uncovered inside the old Mapperley picture house left them stunned. While clearing out part of the upper floor, they noticed a solid metal door behind a wall of plasterboard. It had been carefully sealed away and almost forgotten. The building had once operated as the Majestic Cinema, opening in 1929 and closing in 1957. After that, it shifted into a furniture store and later fell into disuse. For years, no one seemed to pay attention to that side of the structure. When the museum opened, its dark history made it the perfect home for a spooky attraction. But the strange metal door wasn't part of any tour. Sealed inside an emergency chute, the door had wiring and fixtures fastened over it, as if someone went out of their way to keep it closed. Rumors started spreading. People said something odd had gone on behind it. Curiosity eventually took over. With help from 7 other paranormal investigators, the Wessons pried it open. Behind the door, the room was small and cold. On the floor lay a five-pointed star drawn with charcoal. In the center sat a worn-out teddy bear. Nearby, burnt-down white candles clung to the surface. Everything looked untouched, frozen in a moment someone clearly wanted forgotten. No one knows who placed those things there or why. Number 2. The Pharaoh's Untouched Chamber. A locked section of an ancient tomb buried deep in Egyptian sands continues to challenge what we think we know. In 1922, Howard Carter opened the world's eyes to Tutankhamun's tomb, a moment that shook the field of archaeology. Inside were golden relics, ancient furniture, and the preserved body of a boy king. But even with all that was found, one part of the tomb remains sealed. It has never been opened, even after 100 years. Some believe it could hide lost treasures or help uncover how Tutankhamun was connected to other pharaohs. The silence from behind that barrier has left experts wondering what they missed. In recent years, radar scans and imaging tools have revealed strange voids behind the north and west walls. These are not random gaps. The shapes suggest there may be chambers hidden behind the stone. Still, no one has broken through to confirm it. The air of caution hangs heavy, not just because of the ancient bricks, but because of what happened after the tomb's original discovery. Many of those present during the opening died unexpectedly. From infections to accidents, the pattern was hard to ignore. That led to the rise of the curse of the pharaohs. And it's something that still haunts researchers today. Whether from fear, respect, or scientific caution, no one has touched the sealed section. Whatever rests behind that wall has stayed there, held in place by time, stone, and superstition. Number 1. Vault B of Padmanabhaswamy. Long before modern locks and alarms, legends claimed that some doors could be sealed with words alone. In 2011, Sundarajan, a retired officer from the Indian Police Service, filed a petition in India's Supreme Court. His request was simple: to officially inspect the unknown treasures hidden within the Padmanabhaswamy temple. The court responded by assigning a 7-member team to explore and document what lay inside. As the investigation began, 6 enormous vaults were discovered, each reinforced with iron doors. They were named A, B, C, D, E, and F. Opening them was no easy task. The effort that followed was slow and relentless. After much strain and careful maneuvering, the team managed to open 5 of the 6 chambers. Inside, they found gold coins that had been untouched for centuries, necklaces too heavy to lift with ease, piles of sparkling gems, and objects crafted with unimaginable precision. The chambers held riches that stretched beyond belief, but one door refused to give way. Vault B, known as the Bharatakon Kalara, remained tightly sealed. The door itself displayed carvings of 2 massive cobras, a signal to many that danger lay behind it. This particular chamber is believed to be deeply connected to Lord Padmanabhaswamy himself. According to temple priests and scholars, opening it by force could bring about disaster. The belief in a curse grew stronger after Sundarajan died only a month after the vaults were opened. Another committee member suffered personal tragedy soon after. There is even an old tale from the 1930s about thieves who tried to rob Vault B, only to be stopped by a sudden attack of snakes that no one could explain. What keeps the door of Vault B closed? It is said that ancient sages once locked it using powerful Nagapasam mantras during King Marthandavarma's rule. Only a saint with great spiritual strength, chanting the Garuda mantra correctly, is believed to hold the key to unlocking it. If you are still with us and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button. New videos drop weekly. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.